first trick I remember seeing, I was 5 years old. My dad took a coin and he made it disappear. Hi, I'm Wayne Houchin. I'm a professional magician. What really got me hooked into magic, I think, was when he took a dollar bill. I was like 6, I was just a little bit older, but he took a dollar bill, he folded it up and turned it into a 10, which was awesome. But then he folded it back up and turned it back into a 1, which is not so awesome. But you know, I was a 6-year-old kid, and at that time I had to know how it worked, and that's what really got me hooked into magic. Magic is an interesting art form. Not many people realize this, but you know, there are magicians out there who create tricks. And magic is interesting because, unlike other art forms like drawing or painting that may use a pencil or a paintbrush to create some form of an illusion on paper, magic uses misdirection, it uses movement, it uses timing, it uses humor, it uses psychology to create an illusion that happens in real time, in performance. When I was growing up here in Chico, I didn't really think about performing much for other magicians. There aren't really many magicians in the Northern California area. But I was creating a lot of my own material at that time. I was creating my own tricks. I was performing them at the Blue Room Theater, the Chico Cabaret Theater, the Thursday Night Market. And eventually a couple of magicians took notice. David Alexander, who's a very well-respected magician and actually the official biographer of Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek. There's a little trivia for you. And also Banachek, who's one of the world's greatest mind readers. He creates the illusion that he can read people's minds. They found out about some of the things that I was doing, and we struck up a friendship, and they were kind of mentors to me early on. And in 2005, Banachek was actually brought on to be the lead magic designer and producer for Criss Angel for his very first series of Mind Freak that airs on the A&E network. It's still airing today. So that was the first series, and Banachek brought me in, and I worked with Criss Angel in the first series and taught him basically how to do several of the tricks that I created. And from that, Criss Angel and I actually filmed a DVD where I taught how to do one of those tricks, the coin and soda can. It was very popular amongst magicians, and that was really my introduction to other magicians in the world. So after my involvement with Criss Angel, I had a lot of attention within the magic community, and I got a phone call from this company that was relatively new at the time. It's called Illusionist, with an E, because misspelling words is cool with a K, cool. Anyway, illusionist.com is a big online magic website where they sell products that teach people how to do magic tricks. And so I got involved with them, and I released a DVD through them that actually became one of their best-selling DVDs at the time. And it was a DVD that I produced myself along with Dana Hawking. And we filmed it all ourselves, edited it, put it together, and we released it through this company. And it did so well that they actually hired myself and Dana to do some of the video production for that company. So I directed a lot of their videos. In a very real way, we kind of revolutionized how magic videos were being taught. Because at the time, it was very stuffy. Magic videos were very, you know, usually it was a magician in a tuxedo who was teaching some kind of trick, standing in front of, no joke, a fake bookcase background. You know, that was what people were used to seeing. So all of a sudden our style comes along and it looks more like something that would be on MTV, you know, like Punk'd. And it's, you know, it's these street performances and these reactions and this modern music, and the teaching's happening, you know, in like a white studio, and it was just so different from what magicians were used to at the time that I think it became successful. And we've seen over the, you know, since then, over the last 4 or 5 years, the market has trended that way. People have actually emulated the style that we really helped to develop and create. So shortly after Illusionist and working with them, we started a company called Theory11.com with a handful of the most respected magicians in the world. Chris Kinner, who is David Copperfield's executive producer, Lee Asher, Aaron Fisher, you know, some of the most talented magicians in the world. We all kind of banded together to start this company. And we started producing videos that taught how to do really groundbreaking new pieces of magic. But in addition to that, we had some really talented graphic designers work up some designs for playing cards. And we produced these custom playing cards that were printed by the United States Playing Card Company, which is the company that prints Bicycle, which is, I think, the most popular brand of playing cards in the United States. We helped and were a part of David Blaine's cards, the Split Spades, which were printed through the same company and released. And we saw this kind of explosion of sales of, of these custom, unique playing cards. It was really interesting to be a part of. Throughout all this time, I was still working on, my own stuff, my own material, my own tricks, things that I had created and performed. And after working with Theory 11 for about 1.5 years or so, I decided that, the company was going great, so I branched off and started doing my own thing through my website, WayneHouchin.com. And one of the first things that I did through the website was I shot an instructional video that teaches how to do an effect I call thread, which is probably one of my more popular. It's one of the pieces that I'm known for amongst magicians because it's kind of a gross, it's kind of a gross trick. Basically, I take a piece of string, put it in my mouth, and pull it through my mouth out of my eye. And it's one of the effects that I taught Criss Angel how to do on Mind Freak. And so I shot this DVD that teaches how to do it, and I really experimented with some new production techniques. We rented a jib, and so we got these really amazing smooth shots, and we filmed the whole thing in the State Theater in Oroville. We got in there when they weren't, doing any productions or anything like that. We spent some time and just filmed a really interesting performance of thread, and then an explanation for, how to learn how to do it. I think the future of magic is really going to be on magic that can be done close up. In the past several decades, magic has been all about, the Vegas entertainer, the big illusions that are done on stage. And just this week, actually, going on right now this week, is Close-Up Magic Week on the David Letterman Show. I think that because of people like David Blaine and Criss Angel, so much attention has been brought to, these artists. They really are artists doing these close-up illusions and creating what seem to be, impossible situations with nothing but, their hands and a little bit of psychology. I think that really is where the future of magic is going towards, these close-up miracles that can be done, 2 feet from you, 1 foot away from you, and don't require a big stage and fancy lights, which is pretty exciting.